Pay attention to what I'm about to say next. A knife that is too premium won't get carried, and a knife that is too cheap won't last long. There needs to be a balance between premium and affordable, where the EDC enthusiast lives, with a knife that can be taken anywhere, that can be used for anything, that will last a long time, and that will make you feel good in the process. When I was asked at the beginning of the year what knife company would have a breakout year here in 2024, my answer was Vosteed, because I believe that they have the perfect blend of premium. You can get high-end materials, you can get low-end cost, but Vosteed has delivered each and every time on the quality of their products. And today we've got not one, but 3 new releases from Vosteed that we're going to check out and find out just how good they really are.
This is Sparta!
Hey, how's it going, everybody? If you're new here, welcome in. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Rollshambo, the connoisseur and collector of all things sharp and shiny. And today I'm stoked because my friends over at Vosteed sent not one, but 3 new releases my way to check out. So big thank you to Vosteed for sending these my way. Today we're going to check these out. And guys, all 3 of these are not only in what I would consider to be an affordable range for what they are, but they're also available. And I will in fact make sure to drop some links in the description down below. They will be affiliate links, but whether or not you click on those is entirely up to you. So let's go ahead and start with the least expensive to most expensive in this bunch and find out if any of these are something that you should add to your collection soon. Starting off with the Vosteed Acorn. This is a recent release that has been taking enthusiasts by storm, and it's not that expensive, guys. This is the least expensive of all 3 knives, and it comes in at $49. So what does your hard-earned 49 buckaroos get you? Well, it starts off with an overall length of just shy of 7 inches, coming in about 6.9. The blade is 2.9 inches, which is going to keep it underneath that 3 inches. So if you have a 3-inch carry law in your state, that will do you just fine. The blade is made out of 14C28N, and the handle scales are these nicely contoured and jimped, but you can in fact get it in blue as well. We have a nice drop point blade here with a generous finger choil, which puts the edge termination a long ways away from that plunge grind, meaning that you have plenty of life on this 14C28N blade. It also has a very thin and slicey edge geometry. When I put this through the double-walled cardboard for my test, I did notice that it had no issue moving through cardboard. So if you're looking for a good, solid, inexpensive knife and you do a whole lot of breaking down cardboard, this is definitely going to get the job done. 14C is one of those blade steels which is highly underrated because it has a very high corrosion resistance, which is great for a user steel, but it's also extremely tough, which means that you can take advantage of these really thin edge geometries. It does wonders if you like to sharpen your blade to a very low angle profile. Ergos on this knife are simply amazing. For a knife that is under 7 inches long, I can still get a full 4-finger grip. It has a little swell on the back here, but that's a-okay. It actually lends to some really good ergonomics. I'm also a big fan of the brass accents on both the pivot as well as the lanyard tube. And looking at that lanyard tube, you'll notice that there is in fact a spot to move the pocket clip over, so lefties will rejoice. This knife is 100% lefty friendly. Action is nice and smooth, and the detent is tuned to take full advantage of this front flipper. You can in fact do all the front flipper tricks. You can go over the top, you can do the thumb roll, you can also do one of my personal favorites, which is what I like to call the snap flick. But if you're not a huge fan of front flippers, no worries. You can, of course, take advantage of that thumb hole. So the deployment hole is great whether you are reverse flicking or thumb flicking. This is a really great deal on a really high quality knife. 49 bucks is a steal considering the quality of manufacturing that went into the Acorn. Next up, we have the Vosteed Mink. And I gotta say, guys, I don't do a whole lot of fixed blades on this channel, but this is definitely one that I like. You'll notice that I have this clip in a scout/appendix carry position because that is in fact how I like to carry my fixed blades. The weird thing about fixed blades is that when people see that you are carrying it on your hip, they get all kinds of ideas. Some people get freaked out, especially if you live in the city. So being able to carry it concealed is nice, and also it keeps it from hanging down on my belt and snagging on things when I'm going through my regular day. The Vosteed mink comes in at a whopping $69, and it features a 3.3-inch blade, frag milled micarta handle scales, a full tang design, and what I'm calling graduated jimping. This is nice. You have 2-position jimping. So Vosteed is fully aware of the fact that you might want to grab your knife here, or you might want to have even more control by moving your thumb closer to the tip. This is going to be a grip that's great for working wood, for skinning animals, so on and so forth. You just have all the control that you need. Also, if you want to move into more of a pinch grip, you can do that and take advantage of that jimping with your forefinger. The overall length of the mink is not that long, coming in about 7.1 inches long and only weighing about 5 ounces, even with the clip and case considered. Nitro V is a blade steel that is highly underrated because just like 14C, it features high corrosion resistance and high toughness, which allows you to get some very thin edge geometry without having to worry about the integrity of that edge. Going through cardboard with this knife was actually surprisingly easy. I thought for sure it might bind up, but I shouldn't be that shocked ultimately because it's not necessarily that thick here on the spine of the blade. There are plenty of folding knives that have a much thicker edge geometry, and considering how thin it gets behind the edge, it had no issue passing through the cardboard, which is a great material to test edges on because it's something that will bind up if your edge geometry and blade geometry gets too thick. Being thinner behind the edge also means that it won't be that difficult to sharpen up, and with its exceptional toughness, it will hold on to that edge for a decent amount of time. If you like to conceal carry your blades, this one conceals nice and easy in a scout carry or in an appendix carry situation. I highly recommend doing that. It doesn't take much to flip this clip around. Normally it is flipped this way so that it can sit on your belt like this, but in case you want to flip that around for an appendix carry, all you got to do is remove these 2 Phillips head screws and reposition it just like this, and then bang, you've got a scout carry option. And then finally, my personal favorite out of the 3, we have an update to the Vosteed Hedgehog. The Vosteed Hedgehog is a knife that I've already reviewed, but it's also one of my favorite releases this year. In fact, I already have 2 other Hedgehogs. We have this version, which is in the blue Damascus and the satin/brushed finish blade. We also have the black micarta version with the stonewash blade, and then of course the micarta handle scales. Now, while all 3 of these might be looking a bit identical to you, there are 2 small changes that they made that make a big difference. Let's talk about them. First is the handle scale material. They went with a hard coat anodized 6061 aircraft grade aluminum, and they also included a backspacer. In my initial review of the Vosteed Hedgehog, I had asked for a backspacer, and I was wondering how good would this feel with aluminum handle scales. I had a feeling that they might go ahead and progress to this, or that they might go ahead and give us some titanium handle scaled options. While we don't have titanium, this is a great opportunity to check out the version in aluminum. Now, because they added aluminum and because they added a backspacer, it's going to be about ½ ounce heavier, but it doesn't make that big of a change in my opinion as far as the weight of the knife is concerned. It still comes in at just under 4.5 ounces, and the action on this one is great. Everything that I love about the Vosteed Hedgehog is continued on to this new version. It's still $139, but check this out, guys. The hard coat aluminum is in fact a big upgrade, because if you don't like scratching your handle scales, the hard coat aluminum is going to give you a hardness of about 60 to 65, which is harder than many knife steels on many of our EDC knives, versus something like titanium, which comes in with a hardness of 30 to 35. If you absolutely abhor getting scratches on your handle scales, this is going to be a great option with the matte black because it's not going to scratch that easily. In order to scratch a material, whatever your scratch scratching it with has to be harder than whatever's being scratched, which means that for most situations, if you get any blemishes on these handle skills, they will in fact wipe away, and you don't have to look at any unnecessary wear and tear on your blade. As far as the cut test was concerned, I already knew that the Vosteed Hedgehog is a supremely good utility cutting knife. It had no issue passing through the cardboard and maintaining its edge. It actually gets decently thin here behind the edge. It's not super thin, but it's thin enough to pass through something like cardboard without binding. And it also is easy to handle because of these excellent ergonomics. It has similar ergos to something like a Spyderco Para 3 in that you get a full 4-finger grip despite the fact that it's not necessarily that big of a knife. In fact, one of my favorite things about the Hedgehog is the fact that you can pop this in the 5th pocket of your jeans, which leaves your main pocket open for something else or for anything else. Maybe you don't want to have a knife in your main pocket. Maybe you want to put your phone in there, or, you know, like an EDC pry bar or something else. You can do that because this fits in the 5th pocket of your jeans. Hallelujah. The 5th pocket of your jeans finally gets some love, and you can finally put something worthwhile in there. Now, just a heads up, the aluminum versions of these are selling out quick. They have a blue version, which is sold out on their website. They also have an orange and black version, which is sold out on their website. But this black version is still available. So if you're interested in it, I wouldn't wait too terribly long, because I guarantee that this too will also sell out in due time. But which one of these is your favorite out of the three? Do you like the Vosteed Hedgehog, or do you like the Vosteed Mink? Or are you a big fan of the Vosteed Acorn? For 49 bucks, I'm still in shock about just how good of a deal the Acorn really is. But now it's time for us to have that discussion in the comment section down below. Do you have any of these? Are you looking to pick any of these up? If not, why not? Let's talk about it. And by the way, if you want to watch more awesome knife and EDC content, make sure to click on one of the videos that pops up next.